Good evening from my side. Good day from yours. Hope you're having a wonderful, special day. The second day of this beautiful equinox, the whole new beginning. Morning has broken like the first morning. The birds are singing. The clouds are floating. The bunnies are bunnying. And the trees are hopefully starting to leaf. But I think some people have still got snowing. Anyway, it is what it is. The energy is still piercing through. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I think I've had a bit too much energy. I'm feeling a little spaced out and a little shaky last night and a little tired right now. But hey, that is what it is. And I think it's also because we were promised sunshine and they didn't tell us the truth. Scotty, my love. So we have no sunshine today, and I find the dismal grey weather like really cool. But hey, here we still are doing Navratri. We're just like a third of the way through. Am I right? Yeah. Hey, lovey, my love. Scotty, I've missed you. Where have you been? You haven't come to visit me. But I haven't been on for a long time. But the goddess has got me out of Navratri. And I must tell you, I'm having such an exciting time with it. It's an interesting journey, this stuff. It's very complex, but it's very simple once you kind of start getting it, and then you think you're getting it, and everything just gets thrown up. It's like a very interesting journey. And I was just thinking, it's 3 years that I've done Navratri, I think, with us. I've done it more because there are actually 4 Navratris in the year. And Grace, beautiful, beautiful. Hey. And yeah, it's celebrated quite differently. This one is kind of half shining. It does kind of coincide with the new year and with things going out, but it's not a very public one. People still do this very much in their homes. Obviously they will go to temple, but it's not all those great big celebrations. The big celebrations I've been missing you lots. Where's Chloe? I haven't seen Chloe for a while. Is she fine? Anyway, the big Navratri, which most people know about. That's why some people think that there's only one. Is in October, and that is very much for the people, and it's really celebrated out there with a lot of rah 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 rah. The essences are still the same. That one is really that's for everybody. Yeah, it doesn't go deep. This is going very deep for me, and it's like taken me onto a whole nother level, which is fine. I might share that another time, but not now. But for me, and then we have the gupt ones, and I'm sure that there must be. I'm like now digging around to find what's the difference with them. But those gupt means hidden. And most people don't do them because they really bring in the dark side of the goddess. And I'm sure people will start doing it more and more. But it really expands the shadow and our fears. And they always say it's like the dark side and the heavy, but I think we're very brave in the West on some level that we do confront the shadow, and we confront things that most other cultures don't, like getting old. They don't really worry about getting old because they're usually like venerated and looked after. But the West take menopause very, very badly. Well, I can't even think of their name. It's so weird. The Tokyo people, the Japanese people, they actually have almost no symptoms. Yeah, I'm sure it's from what they eat. Yes, she does. She actually has 10 arms. I've spent, you do not understand how many hours I've spent today. I'm going to have to draw her, because even in like the original stuff, it's so difficult to find one that actually portrays her as she should be. So I want to go into this one, Chandraghanta, which means little bell, and the moon. But we'll get into, and I'll go quickly over the other ones that because they all, this year it's for me, it's like really exciting. It's like on another place that I was writing about it, like the layers and the different meanings, and how it's all just so interwoven and layered and encoded, and it seems so complicated, but once you start understanding the code, yeah, that she's blessing at the bottom. But you will see that a lot of the things, I mean, they just willy-nilly throw, no matter how much you say 10 arms, they just willy-nilly throw out like 20 arms or something. So it's so this isn't close. I do have a reasonably close one, and somewhere along this line I will actually talk about the weaponry that they have, which is also like just so wonderful. I think because it's all like so interwoven, these stories, and the stories are really just one story, but there's just so many aspects of it. Yeah. So when you start to understand all those stories and you dig deeper and deeper with all those stories, and then you see the symbology, and then you start to see the symbology, like this year I'm so excited. I'm reading the symbols, and it's like, oh my goodness, that's what it means. I'm reading the pictures. So I'm really excited about that. I'm very excited about that. For it's just that for me, because it's like I've been really chugging away at this stuff for over 3 years. Yeah, I thought it would be something something I know about, the 5 elements. Oh, I know about it. Oh, it's Shiva on Namah Shivaya. Oh, okay, the 5 elements. Let's dig a little. Oh my goodness. Well, there we went down a very deep and interesting hole. So we've come a long way, and I try to make it sense. So I hope that you guys understand the sense that I try to put to it, because I love curry. As somebody said to the Brits, of all the stuff that you could have had in India, you managed to import. You brought back curry. So yeah, nothing else. And quinine for the mosquitoes. And the gin. What was that water they call it? You know what water I'm calling it. Tonic water. Yeah, there is absolutely. I mean, the stuff it's just so beautiful, but it's to take some of the essence and bring it into your own life the way that it feels correct, right for you. I do. I love curry. I actually found this amazing German site with she lives in India, and she's got all these wonderful curry recipes. Not really curry recipes, more like vegetable curry, strange things. That was also so interesting for me to actually read a German website and blog site and actually understand it and think, oh wow. And, I read it and I wasn't thinking about reading it. It was just, I was understanding it. So those are like weird little things that will happen. Lots of like those like, I'm seeing things in another perspective at the moment. So I'm sure we're all having absolutely wonderful things. So what did we do last year? This was the first year, because I've done this one. This is the 3rd time for this. I think at least. No, it could be even more. Oh, time is strange. Time is very strange. Blessed Chandraghanta. I would, if I stayed near more Indian people, I would definitely, I might still do it. I would definitely go and learn Vedic stuff, because the words are, they make sense, yeah. They're not just like made up words. They all have a meaning to them, and they mean something, like they mean what they mean, yeah. And being the way it is, they still, all the word is holy. We have forgotten about that a lot, yeah. We think only the Bible word is holy, but we're slowly getting into it, that every word that we utter, the vowels, the consonants, they all have like deep resonance and hold different vibrations, and none so true as they do in Sanskrit. And that was, I mean, because this is really all this, pretty much the story of Shiva and his wife. He's only got 2 wives, but they do have slightly different names. And it's not a difficult thing. It's like you also have lots of names. Different people call you different names because, you might be called the great meringue magician. That's what you always referred to as, because you make wonderful pavlova or something. So, yeah. And that it's like, who are you talking about? Oh no, we're talking about, don't you know who the great meringue magician is? Because you've been speaking about the great meringue magician for the last 3 years. Nobody actually knows. Well, everybody knows, but some people don't know who you're actually talking about. Sorry, Grace. It's like it's like a little baby mirror there. maybe you make great pavlova. Okay, so Chandraghanta, she is the 3rd form of the goddess Durga. So we've got Durga kind of above all this, and Durga is actually another name for Parvati, the great goddess. But above Durga, overlooking over, and she just we have Tara, but we have the Indian Tara, and she makes Kali look like a nursery school teacher. So she's kind of above that. And way above that, we have Lalita, that's a whole nother story. So it just goes in all these extraordinary levels. And oh my goodness, the energy is too much. And yeah, nothing is done without nothing. Everything for these people, it's just permanent prayer and they just do it just because they do it. They don't think about it, and it's all fun, and there's very little reverence, what we would call reverence, but then they use these words like penance. It's like so glibly, which sounds so harsh for us. But penance is something absolutely wonderful for them, because it's when they go off into the mountains or into the forest, off to the snow, and they go and pray for a reason. And everybody's going to, so many people over the times have gone off to go and pray. And it's specific, they go off into the forest, and it's very normal for them. And they go and take the holy beads, and they eat very little, or they just have a begging bowl. And their idea is to pray until a god will manifest and give them an answer to a particular problem. Yeah, usually it's quite a big problem. So we have kings and noblemen going off and becoming sages, or going off to worship. I don't know where I'm going off on that tangent, but it's very normal. It's very, very normal. Here they lock you up in psychiatric wards. Just never forget that in the West, like, it's great. If you talk to God, it's called prayer. But if God talks to you, it's called schizophrenia. Okay, so very briefly, Chandraghanta translates to the one who has a moon-shaped bell, okay, which refers to the little crescent moon adorning her forehead, and the bell, the Ganta, which is a Ganta. So, and who gave her that name? I think it was also Brahma gave her that name. So she was the one with, she's got the little moon bell now. So who she actually is is Shiva's wife. She's now got married. Okay. Yeah, so much beauty. He's very, but then there's some other there's other aspects of him, hey? Yeah. Well, absolutely. So there you are. You're going, and that's kind of your penance. It's what, but yeah, we call it fishing. Yeah, there's nothing done without a reason, hey? So let's just go back very quickly because I love the way that it kind of builds up. And I didn't realize this was being received with a lot of gratitude by some people because it's just like putting things and it's like whatever. So I'm crying a little bit because it is what it is. Where am I? I'm here. Sorry, I've done lots of fabulous pictures. So we started off, and I called this. So I've put like a lot of my own spin on this, and definitely not because I feel I can. It's just because I meditate with it, and I did last year as well. I did something very interesting. So I've called this whole three. Oops, that's the wrong one. Oops, it's also the wrong one. Where am I? There. I called and I broke it up into. Oops, wrong ones. Sorry. We're going into those. There we go. Because I was going to stop for some people at this stage, but then I think I must go on further. This is what I'm seeing at the moment. So I've called these three goddesses the goddesses of the deep water, and it was Shailaputri who comes along, which was the calling, and then we have Brahmacharini, which is called she is the commitment, and then we now have Chandraghanta, which is the balance between peace and power. So if we go into what's been happening with these little guys, it's so for me it's so big that it's so difficult to actually discuss. But we have this Shailaputri who comes from the mountain. So you've been around it with me a lot enough to actually understand. And she is called. So first, if you remember, we had Sati. Sati was Shiva's first wife who he was madly in love with, and she went up in a ball of smoke and fire, and Shiva went into absolute misery, and he went and meditated for way too long. So the world was in serious problems. They had to, and he had to have kids somehow or another, and this wasn't going to happen sitting in the snow. So they got together and they and there will only be one Sati. There will never be another one. But she reincarnated into Parvati, which means of the mountain. And I could be wrong, but I think her father, and they are also noblemen, but I think her father is part of the gang that actually make the weapons for some of the gods. And all the gods have human lives, which is just very interesting with this stuff. They're not bigger than normal. They're not outsized. Some are a bit blue. Many are very black. They various shades of human color mainly, and yes, a lot of blue. But the blue very often signifies the dark, dark, dark skin, and then the light-skinned ones. So people, let's not even go there. So she comes on the bull. She comes out of the mountain, and it's the calling. And she comes really, really simply. She's riding the bull, and the bull that she's riding is Nandi, and Nandi is Shiva's bull. So she had all these dreams as a young girl, and she didn't know what they were, but she kept seeing this dude, and she was like, just, I won't say madly in love because it's the wrong word for this. She was just so taken by this person. So she went into a lot of prayer, and she just dreamed and dreamed and thought about him. She wasn't interested in having friends and parties. She just meditated And when she meditated, she saw this incredible face of this ascetic. And one day she was walking through the forests, and Nandi came to fetch her. And they went off into the snow place, where all these crazy people were meditating. And there was Shiva meditating. But he's always got this interesting gang of people around him. Playing. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, yeah, go listen. He was very pretty, and he's like, now he's got muscles, but in the early stuff, he didn't have muscles, eh? He's not exactly like your macho man. They make him now look like a bit like a macho man. But the very early depictions of Shiva, and then he was, as I said, this stuff blows me apart. But it's like on the commerce side, there were gold coins which they found in Greece, and which are from like 1000 BC. That there was this incredible commerce, which is Shiva on the back and then a ruler on the other side. And they found, as I said, these. So like they had a lot of like communication with Greece, and then later with Rome and with Egypt. Yeah, that's why the Greeks eat rice. They got it from. But that's like a whole nother. So as I say, it's just so interlinked, and they're just so alone. At the moment we've got all these three brothers fighting. They all come from the same thing. They all believe the same stuff. Just the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians. It's all the same religion. It's all the Abrahamic religion. Which, just by the way, and that just came to me last night. I saw, and I'll show some pictures just now. Is sorry, it's really going to make you stop and think. Well, it should do. It made me stop and think that yesterday, yesterday was the beginning of Eid, which was the end of Ramadan. So it's the end of 40 days. So we have billions of Muslims celebrating Eid. But Eid is very beautiful, and they also the way it's their little Christmas. So it's for 3 days, and it's really simple. It's not like crazy what we do, but first they give presents. They go out and they give presents to poor people. They always think about the poorer people first. They feed the poor before they eat, and they've been fasting for 40 days, so they all got all day. And I mean, we've got lots of these groups of people in South Africa, and you watch them, and they feed. It just goes up in smoke because these guys don't drink, but they smoke. And then they feed the poor. But then now they wait for the moon, and then they tell stories, and then they go out and they give presents to the poor first, and then they'll come home. And it's a very, 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 very small present. Yeah. Well, yeah, they should do. But I mean, especially in these, it's really these three dudes, right now it's these three flipping brothers. I'm like looking on them, leave the others alone. They've got their own pluck. We've got nothing to let these just three brothers go and be idiots for now. They should really stop. I did put a thing in that for like anyway. But anyway, that we can do just every day. If you can think, maybe set your alarm and just for 5 minutes, just like think of peace. You can do it once a week or once a day. So I do a lot of funny alarms on my clock, on my phone. So which means something. And there was one I used to do at 11:11, and that was for me to actually remember to love myself, to tell myself how amazing I was. That's what I did for a few years. And then I found Victor, so I can do it there as well now. But it was like, you're doing well. Otherwise I'd be like really harsh to myself all day. Yeah. So anyway, lots of things that you can think. And then it became like looking after the earth. Okay, so let's go back to these poor, I'm losing the beautiful story, and it is the most beautiful love story ever. So she went into the wilderness and she saw Shiva meditating But I said, don't forget, Shiva's got like these crazy dudes around him. Like, they are not normal. Well, that's what it is for our heart. As soon as you put an ism, yeah, well, and it's war, we are right. I'll talk about that just now because it's like so interesting with her little son, another big insight. And she will do, the mother's like really now, yesterday, like there's not really a big day, but a lot of people were really pulling and pushing and praying for her to manifest. So, me, I wish I had some of those great, big, wonderful manifestations. Mine are just really subtle, and I have to like be very attentive to hearing what they're saying. But it is the call of the mother, and it's the call of joy and play and sharing our knowledge in different ways. And even as I've just said, it's just to shine. That's all we need, is to shine. The rest is a bonus. But so, okay, so she was off, she went and she saw this dude with all these like strange demons and funny creatures around him, because none of them have really got bones and spirits, and oh my goodness, Shiva's open to, that's what's just the whole like big story in that, is that Shiva is open to anybody. Anybody, not going to fit in anywhere you go to Shiva. He doesn't need to be, he doesn't want to be adored and adorned. He just wants, you don't have to do too many rituals for Shiva. You can just like say, I'm here, I'm really here. I will give you this like little half-dead flower I managed to find. And he's fine. He's there, and he answers pretty quickly. Well, governments and pastors, our upbringing, it's ridiculous. Yeah, but anyway, so Nandi said to her, no, don't be afraid. Fear not, said Nandi the bull. This is your dude. These are just his buddies. Look closely. This is the guy that you're dreaming about. So off she went, and she said, okay, now I really know that he exists. So thank you, Nandi. So off she went, and she prayed and she prayed. So if you read about it, it goes, and she prayed for thousands of years. So it's very possible that she was being reincarnated in the time, but there was a lot of like strife happening in the different eras of the world of creation, where the balance, there were like the wars out there, which they talk about the Lyran wars and the galactic wars. They're there in the Veda, but they talk about them slightly different. Yeah. And it's so interesting, Grace, that in India, I also like bulls. Fernando the bull. Who doesn't like Fernando the bull? That you can eat bull. You can eat bull, but you can't eat cow. Yeah. And a lot eat pork. They don't have a big thing about it. Yeah, the food. That's another whole religion that they've been writing about the same stuff for like 6,000 years, minimum. And then they've been talking about it for how many thousands of years before that. And then it was written. And then some of it was made into stories. Okay. So then she went off, and she was meditating and praying and meditating, to the point that she was literally just eating a little bit of bark and some dew. And Shiva came, because he felt he's sometimes very difficult to get through to when he's in his deep meditation, but he's definitely around. He can't be too many people pushing his buttons right now, so he's very, very, very much around at the moment. So I don't know, maybe I did some hard work. Fucking hell, always get stuff a little before. It's very nice. It's very weird. It's a very lonely road. It's a very scary road because you don't trust. So then off she went and she meditated, and he came in and he tested her. And he came as this really skanky old man, this skanky old beggar. And he was absolutely dissing Shiva. He said, no, he knows this guy, and he's really up to no good whatsoever. And she said, no, no, no. I know, it's very weird, hey? And in fact, I don't understand why, because like the bull is Nandi. So I don't know why. There will be a very, very strong reason, at least 365 reasons why you can. It's not just going to be a simple answer. This is the Hindus we're talking about, is not. Yeah. And then he said, okay, well, I suppose she really does care for me, because she's not going to listen to what anybody else is saying. And then they got married. So that's where we're up to right now in the story. So right now, and then Nandi, in all of the Shiva temples, whenever Shiva is worshipped, there's always the bull. So the bull is first, that's Nandi. And Nandi also, we'll talk about that another time. Nandi's very sweet story as well. He was a little boy that absolutely adored Shiva and adored the gods, and prayed, and then he became Nandi. That was his incarnation, because Shiva was like so beautifully impressed with this devotion that he said, okay, I want you to be with me forever, so I will create you as my beautiful bull, as my best companion. And he's always there with Shiva. He's just so totally loyal and totally in adoration. And he just looks, and that's a lot of people aspire to be like Nandi, because there's just that adoration. And he is always in the temples before you get to they don't have Shiva in temples, they have the Shiva Lingam. It's another sort, it's not a phallic symbol. In fact, a lot of people, and I tend to think it is something like the pyramids, that it's a compressor. Any of you guys would actually be able to look at it better and see that it's more of some nuclear plant. It looks like a nuclear plant, also to do with energy. So, but that's for another day. Sorry, this stuff is like, no! And it's weird, you can sort of see so much of it but at once, but it's difficult to put it into words. And that's right, you can't put the stuff into words. Unless, as they say, the Indians have beautiful ways of saying it, unless you have 1,000 silver tongues. You can see beads with 1,000 silver tongues. Beautiful. Yeah, so Nandi is always in a temple before, and his part of his job is actually to spread the word and to tell people about Shiva, like he did with Parvati. Okay. So, but at this time, they didn't call, she's always Parvati. But this is her story, and these are her different names, so that we understand her better and where she comes from. Just as like when you're growing up, you have different names. You always have your name, but people have changed your name, or you get a nickname, you get a little name at school, nursery school, you get another nickname at school, you get a nickname, another name in high school. Some of those names just take you all the way through. I remember the day my father stopped calling me Pinky. It was a great day, but I was so sad. It was like I'd really, really lost a huge part of my childhood. Like, yeah. So it wasn't nice. It was felt like horrid, because he called me that for a long time. I think adult people told him they must stop calling me Pinky, because I was a teenager. So yeah. So she is called of the mountain, Shailaputri. She is of the mountain, and she comes just bearing nothing, she's on the bull, so it's like Nandi's come to fetch her, and it's the calling. And he's come to fetch her, and she's holding the trident, which obviously signifies Shiva, and she is holding a lotus, but it's not an open lotus, it's just a bud, which signifies her purity. Okay, so that's the first day. And that first day we are meant to, like, because what she is now as well, she is the goddess of the wild animals, the goddess of the mountains, she is the goddess of the rivers, she's the goddess of nature. And so we're supposed to do this very, very long prayer of calling her in, and calling in all the sacred sites. And I just had that insight. I thought, I'm not Hindu. I don't understand it. It will mean something to me, but it won't mean very much to me. And I just started talking to the rivers all over the world. It was just flying all over and bringing in all the holy sites. And it was like such a trippy meditation. It was like on another level, just zooming everywhere. Another big thing which they actually do on that very first day is they sow barley. And when it's on the 9th day, they actually will eat it, because by then it's sprouted. So it's like you've got barley sprouts. So they will eat it as food. Do you like Pinky? Do you like Pinky, Scotty? Yeah. It was just that I was so little when I compared to my sister anyway. Anything was little. I was very small when I was born. And very small as a little. I have like a size 3.5 shoe. So it's like really, I take like a 4 now, because it's more comfortable. I'm a bit older, but my feet were anywhere between a 2.5 and a 3.5. So yeah, little feet. And I always say I'm like I'm the tallest of the pygmy race. I just kind of can tower over, so I feel big and strong. I don't feel little. I feel just big. Okay, so so there we have this beautiful girl coming down from the mountain, and that's what her name means as well, Shailaputri, but so does Parvati mean from the mountain. Just trying to find these other pretty pictures. And I had lots of fun. She's doing a rodeo. It's like me when I used to ride horses. Dun, 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 dun. And Nandi is always adorned. He's always got jewelry on him. He's not just plain Nandi. So so this is the calling. This is what I feel. Do we hear the calling? So it's also related to a sort of 16, 15, 16, 17-year-old, maybe even younger, a teenager girl, yeah, who's like, yeah, amour in her eyes. And it's interesting that Shiva is, people change their gods over the years, but he's very popular with young girls. I think because of this, not in any sexual or sensual way, it's just that they know he's going to look after them. Yeah, they have different ways. We mustn't put our own way to them. And then she turns into Brahmacharini. And Brahmacharini is the goddess of the water. And she was given that name because of her devotion, because all she has, she's actually usually standing, but she has her beautiful copper pot. She's very simple. She's like now come down from the mountain, and she's just got her prayer beads, her mala, her rosary for counting her prayers. And yeah, it's very nice to actually pray with a mala. You don't have to do the chanting, but it's just nice that you can do that repetition. And we have them as the rosary as well. And there is something very blessed about the numbers. I used to make rosaries, were really special. And she has her water pot, which we went through yesterday, which was really beautiful, which there's just so much about water. But the water here is that it's the Indians don't just drink water, they always put it in a copper pot. But this is the holy sacred water. It's contained, it's enough for today, it's not overextending ourselves, it's our emotions. Our emotions are contained and under control. We are not racing around with like raging rivers. So this is where she is related to Shiva at this stage in Navratri, and she would be she's become a devotee. She's become an apprentice. It's a very lonely road. This is like when we've had our awakening, and now boy girl doesn't matter, and now it's that lonely road of the apprentice. And what do we get no thanks for it. And as an apprentice, even in work wise, you get very little pay. And you get a lot of flack. You're constantly being told that you know nothing and that you're an idiot and this work is shit and go and redo it, when you know it was actually really super. But that's just the way of being an apprentice. You have to be up earlier. You have to do all the skivvy work. That's kind of, yeah, if you can relate to, that's what she's been doing. She's been up. She's been praying. She's been sleeping on the floor. Whichever way you want to do it. But you look at it as the apprentice. She's just thrown herself completely into discipline, whether it be fasting, but it's prayer. It's her consistency, yeah, and just being there, and always showing up with her little jar full of water every morning, full of her spirituality, full of her emotion. No cups running over here yet, guys. Okay. So then, that's pretty much how she really is depicted often in the old Indian iconography. Oops. That was yesterday. Where am I? Whoops. Oh, we've got somebody else. Okay, so I really did battle to find even a proper, and these aren't, because now she comes with her little moon, and I'm going to, because even these are supposed to, and this still isn't, because it doesn't show the crescent moon. So this is the third day, and what were we supposed to do yesterday? But like, I'm reading a lot and just listening a lot to all these stories. Some of them I really don't understand, and just going through either the 1,000 names or the 25 names or the 32 names. And she is just like the huge goddess. It's just like really a wonderful initiation for me. Another, because I've just but they are all poverty. So now she's got married on the 3rd. Oh, so she is, I don't know how old she was when she got married, maybe 19 or so, 18, 19, when she got married to Shiva. There are two stories. The one is, which we'll share a little bit later, that he arrived, as he usually does, or his hair all over the place and ash on him and his skulls, and he's definitely not the guy you want to take home to mom and dad, and all his gunners. These are the best men that he's got, and of course Nandi the bull, who's just immaculate. So he's got quite a merry little troop. And there's one story where she turns herself into Kali so that she can actually match him and be like him, be similar, and also be full of the smell of death and decay and wood fire and ash. And then there's the other story where she asks him really nicely to actually like go and clean up so that they can, she doesn't want to repeat the same mistake that happened with Sati. And he does. That was like, I've read that one a few times, and he maybe they had 2 marriages, 2 weddings, who knows? Or maybe that was when she took him home to meet her parents. And so as I say, I would love to read them myself in the original, as close to the original writing and not translations. That he cleaned up very well and arrived as this absolute immaculate and beautiful prince, absolute prince, fit enough for anybody's princess. So yeah, anyway, that's by the by, but now she is married and she is deeply, deeply, deeply in love with Shiva. And she's done all this, this is the guy that she wants. We all know some people that have these incredible love stories in their life. You're king of the pygmy race, are you? Oh, cool. Yeah, I think so. And he's just like, you can't, the more that you get to know this dude, the more he stands for everything. I want to cry. He just stands for fucking well everything. And he's everything, but a lot of people have preferred but he condemned Brahma. So there's one temple of Brahma in the world, because Brahma told a lie. He said you're not going to be worshipped. And I mean, Brahma creates so much. But a lot of people like Vishnu because Vishnu is more. He's got all the rituals, beautiful rituals, and the smells and bells and gongs and pongs and the wealth. Any of those very, very wealthy temples, and where they found like all those billions of dollars worth of gold underneath and still in vaults, and those are Vishnu temples. And just remember something also, that the temples are private things. Huh? All the temples always they've been created by private people. It could be kings, it could be landowners, it could be and it's not like the Pope is going to pull over there. It's your own money. You can like get money. Well, yeah, but Kali can divide herself up into so many other ways. Yeah, I mean that's the story. She's the woman. She is also the other half, but Parvati is also his other half, very much. And then there's Shakti, which is before. So it gets so like but it's actually it's the most incredible 3-dimensional or 7-dimensional or 12-dimensional puzzle. Sorry, I didn't need to throw all those words in right now. But they all just build up. And I've just said to myself, and I've tried to share it with us here, is that just take it completely at face value. Don't try and say it's a myth. Just read it as it properly is. And say, well, this really happened like this. And maybe that's just been part of being able to see it as the way that I see it. Because I don't like see it as some story. I see it that this really happened. And maybe that was the universe, the great big energy telling me just to do it like that, because it really did. And they have all the stories of the world, except they live them and they party around them. The Egyptians collapsed. The Greeks, thank God, collapsed. They twisted the whole story a lot. What's happened to the Africans, we don't know yet. By God's grace, they haven't been so, but a lot have. They've like taken the whole belief system away from them. But yeah, okay, so let's just see what she actually has here now. And this particular Navratri, she drives a tiger, which is also, it's very solitude, it's woman's stuff, it's like being alone, and it's usually a tigress that she's riding. Both of these, Sati, when he told her not to go, I hope you remember some of the stories, because we keep referring back to them and they make it more rich. He told her not to go to this party because they weren't given an invitation. And she said, no, I'm going. Millie, 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 I was just thinking about you. Here you are. I didn't talk about it. You know me, I don't talk about too much. I just think about this stuff. And she was told, he said, don't go. And she said, I want to go. And he said, don't go. And she like, so she turned into actually all the dark sides of the goddess, which is what we actually worship, venerate, acknowledge, work with. Over, I don't like the word worship, over Navratri. And one of them was Kali. So when you've got Kali standing in front of you, she's saying, you say, okay, go, go. I told you so. And then when she was dead, and he went to the party and he found her, he turned into this very, very, very dark male side of Kali. Exactly the same. He was in so much rage, he was going to destroy everything. And one of the things now that we know a little bit more about how powerful and important the words in the Veda are, he wanted to remove that. He was so pissed off with people and humanity and the whole world and everything, because his Shakti was gone, that he wanted to take as part of creation, the beach mantras, beach essences away from humanity. So we would have had no vowels. Shreem, Shreem were the beach ones. Shreem, Shreem, Clean. These are the magic spell words to call in the goddess. They are the goddess or the god. They are them. And the more that you say them, the more you create them. This is how it works in India. I mean, how it works with magic, but we don't know what we're doing when we're playing with magic, like the stuff that we play with. And too much is done in the dark. This stuff is not done in the dark. It's like it's totally out there. Yeah. But for certain things, like when you're dealing with the darker aspects, that it is really, really important to say those mantras absolutely properly, and to pronounce the wording proper. Because if you make a mistake, you're bringing in something else. And that's the whole thing of like Maa Durga riding a tiger versus riding a lion is literally one word. So we are creating, we're doing spellman, we're doing this, we're creating all the time. And that's why a lot of the gods, they go in favor and out of favor and in favor and out of favor. So it depends then how much that you are actually chanting to them. And we're creating. Yeah. Yay. Where have you been, Millie? Have you had sunshine? We haven't had sunshine. So we just went over what was happening before. This is the little Belle. She's now got married. So she's gone from the mountain, she's done the austerity, and she's now Chandra. Chandraghanta. So what she usually has, and this is like supposedly a proper illustration, but I can't. And I know what the universe is telling me. The universe is saying you need to go and paint her. So I think that's going to happen. And I won't try not to cry. Oops. Nope. There. Let's see if we can, because I'm just so, as I say, I'm starting to read this stuff and I'm just like, oh, it's getting so exciting for me. It's like a picture really tells like a million thousand words. So on her head, oh, she does have it there. Can you see it there? Not very clearly. It's actually supposed to be bigger, but she has now the crescent. And remember, Shiva has that crescent in his head. And every month we have Shivratri, not Maa Shivratri, that's once a year. And that's when they got married. Huh? Him and Shiva, him and Parvati got married on that day. But it's that last crescent moon. There's a whole beautiful story behind that. Before the moon goes dark. And that's Shiva's time. And that's what also is part of him. So he really understands this whole woman's cycle. He understands the moon. So there's just so many layers to Shiva, which are just so magnificent. Nobody can say. And then he's a hunter. You know, he is the hunter, the original hunter. So everybody loves Shiva. And then he smokes bhang, you know. And the reason, in some of the texts, the reasons behind that is that he can stay in that deep meditation and keep his rage down. I think some guys understand that. So they offer him bhang. So, you know, who doesn't love Shiva? Now, part of people like my dad. My father would like Vishnu. But then they're the same, you know? And Shiva's got the stripes here and Vishnu's got the stripes this way. Are you guys on holiday at the moment? I know. Well done. Well done, Malay. Yeah. I hope I get round to doing the feng shui soon again because there's so much beautiful stuff. And I know it will have to be another circle because that kind of, anyway, so much. I'm really working with the tiger at the moment. I'm very biased to lots of things. Okay, so now she's come into her power. She's got married. She's having a really good time. It's just her and Shiva. She's taken on his crescent. She understands the moon. She's got his protection. She's always had his protection. Remember the tripula, which is his trident. So what she has now, she has 10 arms. She doesn't have kids, so she really doesn't need those 10 arms. But what she's still got her daisy. She's still got her. Okay. She's her weapons. What she holds in her hand. And I like to just look at it. She's done all that discipleship, which was not easy. And she's proved herself to be right. So now she's been proved she's okay that they're not on holiday, you'll be on holiday. Yeah. She's got that balance, absolutely. I don't know if you're talking about this or you're talking about that, but she's got the balance. She is responsible enough to be able to wield these weapons, that she's not actually going to wield them in anger or in a moment of frenzy and yeah, that's why we're not given these cities. Yeah, we have to work at them. Okay. So she still will always have her she's still got her blossom. Oh my God. her. I often struggle with it, and I use that word every day, and I struggle with that word almost every day. Yeah. It's just gone out of my brain. The lotus. Can you believe? Yeah, I can. The brain's a weird thing at the moment. I don't know. It's changing, and that's fine. Okay. So she still has her beautiful lotus, which just is her symbolizes her purity and her growth. And remember, we're always dealing with that, the Padmiham, which is coming out of the mud. But this is absolute purity. She has her mala, yeah, her rosary, her japa, which symbolizes her concentration and her prayerful life, and that she will take time to actually do that. It doesn't take long. It can just be like 10 minutes earlier every day that you do a japa. But it's that like connecting. She knows how to connect. And she has her kamandalu, which is her beautiful water pot. Can you see it here? Yeah. So those are the three things that she had from the previous two, so that we're just compounding them, which symbolizes purification and containment. And she's got her emotions under control. She's worked with them. She can have discipline. She's only got so much water for the day. Yeah, she's got to like ration it out. Well, not, you know what I mean. She's not going to drink 7 cups of tea on one go like me. Okay. And then she has, can we see what we are here? Beep, beep. There she has the Trishula, which is this. That these have then been given to her. Not his, but he will have one made for her. That's what happens when they give these weapons to other people. They don't give them their weapon, but they've got like the trademark on the weapon, if you know what I mean. Okay, makes some kind of sense. Which symbolizes our 3 attributes as a human and our powers. Okay, it's the Holy Trinity in everything. Then she has the mace. I'm not sure who the mace could be from Hanuman. Always has the mace, but it doesn't matter. That's where they come from. But that for now, this devil device and look and see that thing. Then she has a sword, which is the sword of knowledge and the sword of truth, and she can discern right from wrong. She can see all of this stuff. Then she has her bow and arrow, which symbolizes focus and aim. And then, of course, she has this beautiful bell, which is her Ganta, which represents the terrifying sound that dispels evil spirits and negativity. I absolutely love all of this because, and it's the bell, and it's within that crescent that she has on her head. Sorry, I've gone away here. I go back. So it's within that crescent on her head. She is not going out to fight. Her weapons are not there really to be used, if that makes sense. Yeah. She's a bit like the Swiss army, They've got all these weapons that they have to go, they have conscription in Switzerland, and they have to keep their guns and all their stuff in their cupboard in working order all the time. And they have to go to the army. So I met somebody, and her son tried to get out of the army there because he didn't want to hold a gun. He said, okay, you don't have to have a gun, but you can have a broomstick. So he had to do all his army training with a broomstick. Anyway, he ended up being like a leader because he had the broomstick and he could climb the mountains with his broomstick. But yeah, he has to keep his broomstick in good order. You don't get out of the army here in Switzerland. Well, in Switzerland. But yeah, so just silly information. She's very regal. She's got a lot of jewels and gems and fabulous things. She's really richly dressed. She's not simple anymore. She's not this goddess from this girl from the mountains, from the Platteland, or this girl from the river. She's and this is where we are. You know, these are the broom. You like that one, Millie? Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, so it's going off in another. Yeah, this broom. His whole army training with the broomstick. Oh, you have to share that one with Trista. She'll kind of like it. Those people, some of them, they're completely off the wall. They do some serious, deep, wonderful magic. With these funny things on their head. They run around with like these whole big candelabras on their heads and mirrors. This is the Swiss. Don't talk. They sing around there in the funny mountains. They've been doing weird stuff for centuries. Anyway, so we're back to here. So that's basically her story. So she has this little tinkling bell, and her main thing is to actually love and protect her devotees. And she will be, if you are bringing her into your life very simply, you don't have to do this exactly her, but you're just like acknowledging the earth, because remember, she looks after the earth. She is the earth mother. She controls the waters. You know, that's where I went off on a big thing as working with as Parvati, working with the waters, and I didn't realize how big it was, and it's like so flipping old. It's like I thought I would just take yeah, it did, it worked out. He wanted to get out, but he couldn't. So he's got army pictures with his broomstick. Yeah. You know that the Swiss Guard, they protect the Pope. Eh? Just like throw that curved wall in for us. Switzerland's got some very skanky stuff going on, I must tell you. Way too much funny skanky. So we'll get there. I think I will be writing it soon. then they're going to come on my back. Okay. It's okay. Oh, right. So she is just there for her people, for her devotees, for people that call on her. She will put this whole big protection. I love this tinkly bell that you don't have to do too much. Yes, obviously do. Please do. It's going to get. So start doing it now before you have to do it in terror, because we don't want fear. Oh, and then her other two hands. Oh, those are the most important two hands. The two hands that aren't holding anything. They are there in pushing away fear, pushing away fear. That's really, really important. And the other one is in blessing. So she holds those mudras to bless, to dispel fear, and to bless you. So she's not just a lot of arms, she's got a lot of things, and I'm just absolutely loving how this is all builds up so beautifully on so many different levels. You can take just as a girl growing, which I think that was the first year that I did. No, it's not. It's full of crap. They've even got the whole like tobacco board there. I still remember it. I found out about that in like 2016, 28, somewhere there, 17, 18. I said, what the fuck do we need that for? They said, well, somebody's got to keep check on it. So all the shit goes to Switzerland along with everybody's Swiss bank accounts. All the shit is in, all the shit. But then they do have some funny people in the mountains. And they've got little Heidi. Yeah, those are exactly, Scotty. You didn't miss them. Those are the most important two hands, I think. They are just giving blessings and they're dispelling fear. So I'm so emotional, I can't cry, which is just so wonderful. So this is, if you have embraced some, and this energy is going onto the planet, and we'll pick it up the way that we can. And you definitely don't have to go and be Indian and Hindu. In fact, for the majority of the West, stay fucking far away. You know how I feel about this stuff. You know? Yeah, it's 8 at first, but then there's 2. And they're not very clear here, so they don't. 4 is C. And this is supposed to be like a proper. There's one there, and there's the other one there. But they're not in the proper mudras either. This one is dispelling, and I'm not sure how the other one goes. Oops. My fingers have got weird. That she holds it down. I'll have to double check that. And it said this one's riding the tiger. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, only 10, Millie. Don't worry, we've got the other one tomorrow. She's got 8. No, they have different amounts. It's like the chakras, you know. And yeah, it's hard to be able to hold them. And I don't know, I don't notice that they look weird. You know, especially since I've like now tuned into spiders on a whole nother level. When I look at, oh no, I didn't put them. There's some like, and then some of them have got like 100 eyes and 100 arms. Oh, thanks, Millie. And did you know? Think about this. Very interestingly, think about this, because this is a big thinking. The darkest shit with the smile. Yeah. What else are we supposed to do with it? Because it's there, and I still don't. I'm going to have to talk about it more and more, but in a sweet way, because it's there, you know. And that's why we've got this girl here. And if you like, just I want to go cry again, you know. And if we just like know that she's in control, she's going in front of us. I've had a very, very hard time at this. Before I was quite easy to be the mother, to be the goddess, to be the moon goddess. And then all this shit happened with my mother, and I just like lost so much faith and so much. It's been very, very, very hard. But that's okay, because I'm very, you know, when you lose it and you start getting it back, it's wonderful. But yeah, it's just really wonderful to know and to understand. And I hope that we just keep connecting, or that we allow her to connect with us more and more, because she's always there. She's not there like this. You know, it's like Shiva. He's there like this. When you talk to Kali, she's there like this. If you open, but she's harsh, huh? So she's like and every day you're going to be finding like little tests. And the whole thing is not to think that you're going to be finding tests, and it's to just ride that road. You know? On whose? On mine or on Millie's? Yeah, the mother, fucking hell. Well, that's true, isn't it? Exactly, Millie. Exactly. Exactly. And it is easy, but it's not. Oh, thank you. Don't know. Yeah. That's what it's, yeah. Yeah, thank you. That's okay. I'm going to let you go. You're going to know, oh shit, thank God we got the goddess with us because we don't. What the flip was she? Just remember those two hands that we forgot about. So don't, if you can't remember anything else, just remember those two hands that we forgot about. The ones that are blessing. Thanks. Thank you, Scotty. The ones that are dispelling our fear and the ones that are blessing. Those three brothers fighting out there in the Middle East, it's kind of just like the least of our problems, right? That's going to happen. As I've said, that the portals are open. It's not just the nice people that are rushing in the door. So we've been working, many of us. Millie's cares, there we go, Millie. We'll ask Durga, the little bell lady, to go and ring her bell. I mean, isn't it just wonderful? Oops. So whenever we ring our bells, we can think of her and just know that they are deeply dispelling the negative, the demons. They're in fear. They won't it just puts up this whole resonance. You know, science is going to tell us, and I'm sure we know half of it already, and we know even more than half of it, but it's, you know, it's going to be all scientifically proven. But as I said, that's what I was saying is like, just be careful that we don't, we stop looking, we stop finding, we stop looking at the trees, we stop seeing the trees, you know, or we can't see the wood, you know what I mean? Because we're getting into, and I'm talking to myself, I hear it so much more, this whole like intellectual crap that everybody goes through, everybody knows, and it's like there's too many cooks, you know, too many chefs, too many chiefs, you know, not enough Indians. But it's, yeah, there's nothing wrong with the knowledge, you know, and that's, we get into that next. This is right now, just eat it at grass levels. And sometimes it's just like, oh God, I mean, I don't want to know it. I don't want to learn another thing. It's like for many years, different in different ways. I've got enough. You know? Don't still put more on and confuse this. Well, she has. She's just blown up. I've gone into a whole nother level with this stuff. What we're talking about now is what I've just passed through. So it's absolutely wonderful. It's absolutely like, what the where are we going now? I didn't ask for this. Well, I did, you know. I just told her I didn't know how to worship her, and I was going to do my best. And I really wasn't going to like do all those rivers, and I know that they're sacred, and I know all those sacred places, but I can read the names and they can make some kind of sense to my eyes. But even then, they boggle my brain. But to even try and say them, I'm just, you know, because I just hope other people, some of you, will just like flying wherever I went, just flying like deep and looking through my third eye. That's what I was going to say. That Shiva, who is the keeper of this, right? He is the only male god that has a third eye. A lot of the women have it. We all asked for this. Yeah, somewhere. You know what? Long ago, before all of this was stuff, I was just like, I just knew, so now I'm not from this planet. And it was a 50-50. For me, and I think for some people, not for everybody, it was a 50-50. And that maybe keeps me sane, because fuck, I definitely didn't. This stuff, this is like way too curvy ball. You know? That it was for me, like, I volunteered, but I was also asked. Yeah. I read we all have quite a sense of humour. I loved that. I thought that's beautiful. But you know, I have to make up the letters with my eyes because they've got lots of holes in them. So I like that. We have to. We have to. But yes, we do have quite a sense of humour. But we all have quite a sense of humour, which is just that is what it's about. Oh, I'm going to cry. That's just so beautiful. We all have quite a sense of humour. So we're all these amazing gods and goddesses that are here and awake, but we have a sense of humour. And that's what brings in the compassion and the understanding and smack, wake up, you fucking idiots. Above all else, be kind. Above all else, be kind. It's quite sweet. I was like, Sadhguru was talking. I don't listen too much, but some guy came to him with a short and said shalom to him. And he said, well, what is it? What does it mean? And the guy was saying, no, it's the most important, most powerful greeting in the world. He said, well, you know, maybe we differ, but that's your opinion. He said, no, it is the most important greeting in the world. And he said, yeah, but what does it mean? He said, well, it means peace. And Sadhguru said to him, well, for you, maybe it's an important greeting. He said, but I come from India, and if I go and say peace to somebody in the morning, they'll look at me as if I've gone completely crazy. Namaste is better. We'd have more peace in the world if we said namaste. Oh, did I say a bad word? When did I say a bad word? Oops. Ay, 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 ay. Yeah, but namaste, which is like, I see the God in you, which is basically the same God as is in me, we would have a whole lot less fighting. If you're talking to telling somebody peace, you're actually coming from the back end of the story, you know. Why do you need peace? Because you've got war. Yeah, that's our motto. We all have a sense of humour. Please spread it. Not everybody has a sense of humour. Yeah, my eyes see some fabulous things I don't like. Um, yeah, sense of humour. Yeah. And that's what's so amazing about the Indian gods. They really have a sense of humour because they're human. And I'm trying to think who. Oh, it was one of the goddesses. I think it was Durga. It was Durga, and I'm just like part of what I'm looking at right now, but it's like a bit too much. She has 3 huge incarnations as Durga. You're like the fuck, smack, but we must have compassion. Absolutely. It says, yeah, and you know, we must remember I was born in the 60s. There was a lot of that going on. Not, yeah. Hey, there's still way too much of that stuff going. Doesn't matter. That's how I really am not sure what we're going to do about all these little kids right now, because they're being born, but they're in crazy situations. And the situations for many people beautiful, and there are lots of people going out, and that's really got to go more and more and more out, that people have to go out and talk and share their truth, and show people literally just how to plant gardens. You know, there's no big thing about, like, in a way, what we talk about here. That's like not what going out into the field is all about. It's not like repent. It's definitely not that. It's let me show you how to make a garden, because people have forgotten. And for me, I used to show people how to make gardens, but you have no. I was brought up in a flat, and I wasn't, because I was like had pneumonia, and my mother was so scared of everything. So I didn't play. We didn't have a garden, so I never gardened. No? My mother had it. No, we didn't even have herbs on the outside. We had a house for a little while, and then my parents got divorced, and it was totally illegal to grow marijuana. Otherwise, I might have had a garden. We had some plants indoors, but when I got married, I started a garden, and I was so terrified of gardening because here's my mother-in-law did the most beautiful gardens. But you have no idea how terrified I was of gardening. I was terrified of the worms, beyond. I was beyond, because I had this absolutely, before I used to play with snakes, and then I had this abnormal fear of snakes and of worms. But I couldn't wear gloves. I couldn't feel anything. So I used to work with plastic bags in my hand in the garden. And I really didn't like seeing the worms, but I knew that they were good. So I wake the fuck up. Yes, but love your neighbor. Yeah. I suppose when I see it written, no, but yeah. But yeah, but love your, yeah. But be human. Have a touch or have a sense of human. Yeah. Yeah. Then I worked through it. But most people are not prepared to work through those things. They get like imprinted with fear from their parents. I don't think that you might bring some of the stuff with you, but usually from your parents or a nice neighbor or the kids at school. Yeah, somebody's going to mess you up. For now, it's going to change, but it's not changing tomorrow. We should be so blessed that it would, but we wouldn't cope with it. I mean, I'm barely coping with the energy that's out there. I was like shaking last night. I don't know if anybody else had like too much energy. Yeah. It's also, I think it depends how much you're opening up. But remember that we've got all these beautiful like little elementals that are actually like keeping everything in check for us, for most of us, yeah. That we're not that they yes, we're so not alone. We're so busy with everything. I mean, if you just, I'm just thinking, if you just think on the physical level, it was like, seems like 100 years ago that my husband told him at the time, I think he just did it to terrify me. He said, don't you know that you have little worms on your face that crawl all over your face and clean the dirt off, but you can't see them? So, it was like, no, it's not what I wanted to know. But yes, we do. So we have all these, our face is alive, clean. If you take your hair follicle, it's like, it's completely alive. So can you imagine what's around here? This is just the stuff that we're not seeing. So this is what I said with this kind of like tuning into the waters in your body, which we were doing. Yeah, the mind programming is here. It's sweet. Yeah, but it's because people too, but that's, because it's written. I will put enmity between you and snakes. That's written in the biggest myth book, the Abrahamic myth book. And I have read it, so I do know it. But there's some really good stuff in it. The elementals, yes. Yes, absolutely. Very, very. And for some, yeah, absolutely. I know you're playing with them a lot. Enjoy them. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Yeah. Yeah. They're just going to get more and more. Some people are playing with spacecraft. Some people are, everybody's doing what they need to do. But don't forget that we live here. It's part of the whole thing, is to actually have this human experience. because we are these amazing messengers. We are the hands and the eyes of God right now. We are the yeah. Yeah. So that's why I like, as I said, why I like the Indian stuff, because they really are they people. They're very relatable, in spite of the fact that they have 12 arms. In fact, we can just sometimes be envious. But there's no like, it's all out there. There's no great big mystery. There is some stuff like it's hidden, but it's not very deeply hidden. Yeah. You can go and ask any question. You can believe anything you want to believe. You know. And that was also something which Sadhguru said, which was just so wonderful. He said, like, in India, if you decide that this tree, talking about elementals, is your God, you have this really special tree, and you actually give water to it, and you give, you do offerings to your tree, and you pray at the tree, and all the birds come, and everybody will just like honor you and like respect you because you have this deity tree in your garden, and you have seen it as your deity. But here, if I'm in Germany and I'm doing that, or you're in the States, you know, you're completely cuckoo, and the chances of you being locked up are quite high because you have you like worshipping is the wrong word, but you've made good friends with the tree. In America, I suppose you could go marry your tree. You know, you can marry yourself, but still, you know, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, they would. Yeah, it's like we have. This is like Germany. I still find Germany so very weird. It's like we have all of this so much, which is so right, but it's like don't touch. It's like you can walk. You have these beautiful forests and things, but you don't go off the path. Little Red Riding Hood all the time. You must stay on the path, and they've got the paths. So people go to the lake and they walk very solemnly around the lake on the path, or they drive their bicycle around the lake on the path. Then, yeah, I of course go off the path. Some people do. There are a few people that dash off into the forest and go and play with their dogs and find some mushrooms there. But most people, or 98% of the people are not moving off the path in Germany. Yeah, that's just all so stupid. You know what's just going to be so wonderful? Well, the thing is that I think people are getting closer and closer to the start where there was no sex. And that's going to be just so wonderful because in this whole news, for some it'll be quicker than others, but there's no plumbing, no internal plumbing, and there's no reproduction. Okay. Which, as I said, why is it that everybody finds it so funny? I'm not prudish by any means, but it's like there's other things to laugh. I'd much rather laugh at a bumblebee, you know, or the silliness of a hyena. Yeah. But that was, I think, where we got into a problem because I also take the Bible, read it, and take it at face value as well. Very much so. I always said it's all written there in the first couple of chapters, which now we know it is all written in the first couple of chapters. You don't have to go any further. Just read it. It's like God kept creating the world over and over again. You just like read it. Don't like dwell on it or meditate on it. Just read it. And don't think of it on any big terms or any mythological. Just read it. It's there. So there was this God created this being called Adam, the first man. And Adam looked, and all the animals were there to reproduce. They had boy girl, and they're beautiful. Animals are amazing. They're not always boy girl. You know that swans are very often boy boy. Most swans, mini swans, and they'll even have babies, but they go and steal babies. Don't tell the gay people this, but they go and they steal babies and they bring up these kids as their own. But most swans, very many swans, are two boys. And geese who mate for life, sometimes if the male partner's gone, and ducks as well, they'll pair off with the girl. I don't know if they get down and funky, but they want companionship, yeah? And anyway, so this is my think, is that exactly as it was written, Adam looked at these creatures having a sweetness and a kindness and somebody to cuddle and to rest their shoulder on. Yeah, he would go and walk in the cool of the evening, and this being, he would meditate, and God would come and visit at the same time every night. But he wanted somebody that would work with him, and maybe have children with, like the animals. So that's why he said, can I have a companion? And then from his body, we got Eve. So that's just, yeah. Yeah, they do. They're made for life as well. Yeah. They've come, you know what, Germany are so clever. That's why I say they really, it's very smart with that. Do you say, no, you're a man, not a woman? I mean, it's just, and it's just, it goes round and round and round in circles. And there's so many issues that are like not getting attended to because of this absolute bullshit. Yeah. Germany, where did I go? It wasn't IKEA, it was somewhere else. Anyway, I went to the bathroom and I was most impressed because we have 3 bathrooms now in Germany. We have male, we have female, and we have diverse. So just you're not sure what you're identifying as, or you look like a man and you please just go diverse. Because we very bigly programmed here. They did that a long time. As soon as this issue started, it was around about 2016, 2017. They started it on all formulas that you fill out, that we have male, female, and diverse. I think it's even been longer. So they've we have 3. You can choose from 3. So if you want to identify as a cat, you can't identify as a cat, you identify as diverse. Why? Because das ist geregelt. And nobody's going to argue with that. Oh, no, let's not forget Lilith. Yeah. Yeah, there's always stuff before creations before. I mean, that was definitely not the first, and this is not going to be the last either. It's just that we have it could all blow up, but it's up to us. It's not just one person, it's up to many of us. And that's the sad thing, is people are, it's the fight for our attention, it's the fight for our spirit, it's the fight for what we're doing with our energy, where we're putting our focus. It's the fight for what is inside, not our knowledge, our light within our pineal gland that we have accumulated. Because I believe that all accumulates, all our meditations, whether we're doing like a big meditation or we're fishing in deep contemplation, in silence and nothing. So those are the energies that are feeding into the pineal and being stored in that incredible computer thing in there, because it is also a computer and a storage system. Yeah, that's another. Yeah, yeah. But they shouldn't. And it's in the Indian thing. There's not. It's creeping in and it creeps out. But there's the woman is more venerated. The woman. That's why people. It is very sad that but that came with a lot with the colonization, the subjugation of women, and with the Muslim invasions, and of course the colonizations. Um, but women in a lot of households are given the right, huge in India. Because and I would speak, as I say, I'm so lucky, we're so lucky in South Africa that we have so many diverse cultures all over the place. And I would talk to them and see how they coped with life. Well, absolutely, Millie. It's like we've been given, in a way, too much freedom in the West. I mean, as one, that's my opinion anyway. With especially with India, like anything goes. You can believe anything, and they will tolerate anything. So you want to be a Christian, you can believe. You want to like start a religion for your tree. You can have that tree religion for yourself. Just don't like hurt anybody. But you know that the Chinese actually were like that as well. You could believe anything in China, and you could do any religion. You could have all the things, but they were very strict. Do not disturb the peace. And that was where, so they pulled in that kind of law, and that goes back a couple of 100 years ago. And they pulled that in with the Mayamars or whatever, when they went through and they pulled the crosses of the churches, and they took the what are those? The crescent of the Muslim temples, because they said the only flag you need to fly is the Chinese flag, and because first and foremost you're Chinese, if you're living here. That was something who said that as well. It's really interesting that most other countries, and America is, we have it in South Africa as well. The English, not the Afrikaans. So we've got like a whole lot of different things. But the Auslanders, we're taught, it's very much in us that South Africa is not our land and it's really shitty. So a lot of people think that in South Africa anyway. So a lot of people have like, they're Americans, but they're against America, which is like, oh, how it's like you're so divided. It's like, fuck, that's so right. How are you? Whereas in China, you want to build China. In Russia, you're Russian. You're very proud to be Russian. Very proud. And you talk to anyone of them here, in my country. Yeah, they don't want to go back to their country, but they don't want it here either, but they're very proud of who they are. That's interesting. So there's so many, like those little programmings, those big programmings, and they've known what they're doing, and that's what for me is like, and for a lot of us now, we're looking at this programming that's going on, and what the heck are we going to do about it? Because it's just being covered up and being messed out, and then it gets back to, in your own home, working with the goddess. You don't have to work with poverty, but work with the energy of the mother. And that was a huge, it's going to get bigger for me, this insight, and it'll definitely be getting big all over the planet. Is that, I did mention it yesterday, but it's really huge and it's getting bigger, and I can't quite put it into words, but somebody's going to like do the whole thing of like the emperor has no clothes, guys, you know. So I would just say to a lot of the Muslims and the Hindus and and the Jews, the Hindus are left alone because they're on their own pluck completely. But if we all our religions, no matter how many gods or goddesses that those religions might have, if we, at the end of the day, we all believe in one big true God, the highest of the high God is above all of them, does that not mean that we all believe in the same big high God? Okay, so that's like a but it's even takes it for me right now, it's taking it another step forward where nobody can argue that we all believe in Mother Nature. You don't have to believe in the fairies and the elementals and that the trees have feelings or anything like that, but you will still call it Mother Nature, or people will still say how strong nature is, or how beautiful it is, or how wonderful you feel out when you're in nature. And almost, I don't know anybody that doesn't call it Mother Nature. On whichever level, we take it, obviously, with a much more heartfelt, and thank God for that, and a deeper respect for it. But if somebody is out there, doesn't matter what nature they are, the mother. So the Indians are very clear that it's the mother. As I said, Jesus said on the cross, "Behold thy mother." That was it. So so that's going to be some kind of unity. Like, we'll skip all this other big boy stuff, you know, and let's just go with nature. We hope. Oh. Well, that's exactly that's what they did. As I said, they did it in Germany. So just make a third damn bathroom. So nobody, you want to be a cat, you go there. You don't like diverse. You want to be a worm, you diverse. I mean, that was like a very heavy thing, like many years ago, about 20 years ago. Like, fuck, bloody maggots. Maggots have more use on this planet than human beings, than a lot of human beings, which is like really sadly true. So you want to like identify as a maggot. At least you've got some words. Then go on, off you go to the diverse bathroom. Mm. Yeah. They do in India, and a lot of they hike up their skirts. A lot of African women can peel up standing up. Oh. Well, just start putting that out there. Whoever you see out there, talk about the diverse bathroom. Just say, let's give them a third bathroom and call it diverse. And they will tell other people, and they will tell other people, and you know it will be the 100th monkey. And one day somebody will say, "Wow, let's actually build them a third bathroom." Oh. In Germany, but we've they program from very young, from nursery school, and definitely from it's yeah, about the law and how you need to respect the police, and people will, they don't that's why it was very easy to give people masks here, and um up to a point. Yeah, we weren't shouting outside our supermarkets. A lot of people didn't. They didn't do the injections, but they were okay to wear the masks. Nobody was shouting about not wearing a mask, though they should have, because it actually really did mess up quite a lot of people's lungs. And then what was it? When I think when they brought the second one, they were going to bring some stricter things. A lot of people came out of hiding that hadn't had the injection. But the kids couldn't go to school without it. You couldn't go to certain restaurants. They started that. I know that it was heavy in France. You couldn't go to the supermarket without the injection. And that was all. But it's like, Let somebody else fight about it. We've got other good things to create. Mm. It's like we passing on the baton. We've like done all this stuff. People are waking up. They're going to be horrified. They've got energy for that, to take that. Our energy is for something else right now. And so I just try to, like, for myself, is whatever is good and true and beautiful and kind upon these things, think. And if I can't have them, go and find them. And just ask and you will receive. They're beautiful, beautiful truths. And I'm just, as I say, loving these girls at the moment. I've always loved them. I'm just really like tuning in so beautifully to them, and just really happy that that they've got little bells. So, my beautiful people, I will see you tomorrow for Into the Void. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, the picture just like gets better and better. Yeah. And it is all really about Parvati, about lots. So tune into whatever you're tuning into. I will try not to be strange after this, a stranger after this. Well, I'll be strange, that's for sure, that I will promise. I will be strange. The more strange I can be, the more happier I am. Yeah. So I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you lots, everybody. Let's just like, because I did them. And remember these dudes, where are they? So I went out of my way. What have we got here? See, I absolutely love these, but they just wouldn't. I kept trying to get like the right stuff, but they just weren't. It's been so long trying to get the right things, because it's so important to know what they're carrying and what they mean. That was from the little portal being opened. These were kind of real, but not quite, because then she's not blessing. You see, we need all of those, all of those to be working. Then she didn't have the right amount of arms. She looked good, a little bit too stoned. She looked very, very uncomfortable with all her arms. So these I will post this once we've gone through it. So because these are kind of quite clear, but they're not such pretty pictures. Yeah. Go away. Why doesn't it want to go away? There we go. But they're pretty clear what they hold. So we can all go draw them. But their names are in Hindi, which is fine. Oh, where are these dudes? Huh? Where are these dudes? Oops. Yeah, I was trying very hard, but they just weren't working. And I was like, but it's fine. We got the enthusiasm. So here the words, we spoke pictures with the words. And just to know that she's now married. She's got the little emblem. She's got the moon. She has this little canopy around her. She's royal. She dresses in royalty. She has this little tinkly bell that like puts this whole aura of protection around her. And this zing, zing, zing. And the demons and the monsters, the nasty things. She contains emotions. She contains her spirituality. She finds her time to do her 10 minutes of her mala every day. She maintains her purity. She doesn't like get into gossip and all sorts of other crap. That's so much easier. She watches what she does. She has the sword of truth and knowledge. She can focus. She's got some control over her brain, over her mind. As they say, it's all in the mind. She's in control of this body-mind. I'm not the body. I'm not the mind. I'm not the emotions. She's in control of that. The three base natures as well. She's in control of that with the Shiva's thing. She's loved and blessed by Shiva. Shiva trusts her. She's out there on her own target. She's very independent, but very, very dedicated to Shiva because she stands as his emissary with the moon and she holds his weapons. And obviously the mace because she is now a queen. And that was just to recognize these millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of beautiful Muslims who are also praying at the moment. So we've got billions of people on the planet all praying at the same time, not necessarily for the same thing, but very few people are, there obviously are, but very few people are praying for bad things right now. Almost everybody wants a peaceful life for their family to enjoy family relations, family fun, a little laughter, some presents, some eating, and spending time together. And not necessarily worshipping together. It's more the family, bringing our children up in a peaceful society. That they can go to school, that they have the opportunity to learn, that they have enough food, that we always think of the poor people before ourselves. Not such a bad thing to keep the men and the women separate. Up to some point, they make it go crazy. Alex went to a school in South Africa. I was like furious because they didn't tell me that they were so halal, so frum. And it was very interesting. It was a very kosher school, very Jewish, very frum, and there were quite a lot of Muslims that went there. Very, very interesting. But when the girls, the very frum girls, the Jewish girls, walked outside to go for whatever they were going to, the boys were not allowed to look. And if they did look at them, this is like high school. Hey? This is like, he was like 14, 15. And if they did look, they were given a yellow card. So I thought that was really hectic. Anyway, so I love you all. Oh, Witchy Twisted did pop in. Why couldn't I see that? It's okay. Okay, my beautifuls. I don't know where I lost all of this. Okay, my love. So I love you all, and we will see you tomorrow. And have a most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful evening. And just join in the prayer with all sorts of millions of others that are praying for peace and sweetness. Big love, everybody. And I will see you tomorrow. So, don't forget to say your prayers tonight. Just clear your energy before you go to sleep. Even if it's just stuck washing your hands. Thank you, Scotty. I love you too, my love. Love your dog for me, please. I think of him a lot. More. I think of your dog more. You have to show me what your dog looks like. I think of your dog more than I think of you. I don't know why I think of him. Anyway.